and we just want to add to this our new reporting today, which is that Kamala Harris's campaign says that she plans to go to the southern border of the U.S. soon.
So I understand why the campaign thinks that this is a good strategy, to put her down there to essentially argue, look, I care about this issue. The former president, he was the one that squashed that bipartisan border enforcement bill. He only wants this for politics. He doesn't actually care about this issue. But I think that when you speak to voters, they really crave authenticity. Wow. They want to, for all of the former president's issues, you'll often hear the caveat, well, he is who he is. The vice president has a long history, a well-documented history of really being an ally to these immigrant communities. No. She has 2 chapters in her book, I Say We Fight and We Are Better Than This.
Debate, you had Kamala Harris making the claim also repeatedly, many times since, that women are bleeding out in parking lots, when there isn't a shred of evidence of a single woman bleeding out in the parking lot of a hospital. Well, there was actually a woman
Why is she looking like that?
Debunked it. I'm sorry for stopping it so early, bro. That's literally the same thing as the pet stuff. Because who knows about that?
Let's see what she says about that.
Did you see how she was looking? She's
about to say, like, she's
like, why did she look like that?
Wow, okay. Hey, man, hold.
When there isn't a shred of evidence of a single woman bleeding out in the parking lot of a hospital.
Well, there was actually a woman who died in Georgia who, because there were 2 women, in fact, one in particular who couldn't receive the care that she needed.
There's no evidence of a woman bleeding out in a parking lot. My point is the kind of rhetoric that's used.
Have you seen evidence of Haitian migrants?
So that woman she's talking about, I actually saw this story. She ate an abortion pill and she left the baby's cells inside of her and then she died from that. And they're blaming the abortion ban.
I mean, my mom, a lot of women aren't very, let's let the clip
I believe that's what she's
They're very,
talking about.
serious about this. I mean, my mom's even like, man, sometimes, like, you have to choose between the mother or the child. Like, it is very,
like he said, that's 1% of the time.
Yeah, and Trump basically said it's gonna be situational.
Yeah, there's the exceptions.
Yeah,
that's the exceptions.
So that debunks that.
Yeah.
One in particular who couldn't receive the care that she needed.
There's no evidence of a woman bleeding out in a parking lot. My point is the kind of rhetoric that's used across the board.
Have you seen evidence of Haitian migrants eating pets? Like, if we're going to talk about evidence, have you seen evidence of Haitian migrants eating pets?
Having gone to Springfield, I didn't see that evidence, but what I will tell you is I'm bringing that up because you brought up the Haitian migrant point. Having gone to Springfield,
eating pets, like, if we're going to talk about evidence, have you seen evidence of Haitian migrants eating pets?
Having gone to Springfield, I didn't see that evidence, but what I will tell you is I'm bringing that up because you brought up the Haitian migrant point. There are residents in the community that had pointed to that. There isn't even that level of a shred of evidence to support a single woman in the United States bleeding out in a parking lot. Yet that's been a repeated claim made by Kamala Harris. Wow. So I think when we're getting into fact-checking, I think we should apply the same standards 360 degrees. Wow. And I think we should not use Kamala Harris's quote there to sidestep a debate about abortion policy, just as we shouldn't use some other quote as an excuse to sidestep a debate about immigration policy. And a core thesis of this book is let's not use the fringe words that somebody on either side might say, and let's focus on the actual content of the debate, even when we disagree most. I think that's going to be a key step to reviving our country. And the beauty of America is we can disagree badly, and I believe still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That's the America I miss when I grew up not that far from Springfield myself. I think that's the America I'd like to see us revive, and that was a core motive for me writing the book that we're releasing today.
All I will say is that we did see the family of the woman in Georgia. They were at the event where Kamala Harris did an interview with Oprah, and they heartbreakingly had lost their daughter, who of course was also a mother. But look, Vivek Ramaswamy, I really appreciate your time today. I'm sure we're going to see much more of you on our political scene. And like I said, congrats on the book. Thank you very much.
Again, that mother died from eating an abortion pill in North Carolina and leaving the cells of her unborn baby inside of her, which caused her to die. That's why that happened.
She's kind of making her point.
She ate an abortion pill.
Like, they could have said, but like they could have said, well, she can't have
But abortion is still 6 weeks in Georgia.
I know, but like, You know what I'm saying?
So she could have aborted the baby.
I know, but the people probably think she ain't got enough to get it pulled out.
But if abortion is legal up to 6 weeks, you could have got an abortion. She got an abortion pill and died from complications of taking the abortion pill. How is that a credible argument to use in that? Somebody educate me. I'm serious, because to me it's like I don't really understand how we can blame that on.
Yeah, they be making me feel uneducated about the abortion. I'm like, I get it, but it's just like if it's such a hard debate. I feel like it's just easier to just say, hey, buddy, it's hard. Let's leave it up to the states. I'm like, that's just easy as it is.
I got a real question.
It is a sensitive topic, but it's very sensitive. It's a moral thing.
I got a question. This really I was really thinking about this a lot. Wow. You know how we have an increase in violence in our country, right? But all we haven't heard about increases like diseases or increases of STDs or increases of anything like that. Because these are just people that's coming from these third world countries just walking in without the vaccine.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure we have seen. I have seen an increase. I've seen something about that.
I ain't never seen nobody ever brought that up as an argument. It's like, would more diseases be in our country because of that? Oh, I'm tripping.
Something just caught my eye, guys. I mean, we gonna get y'all see what that say right there. Next Tuesday,
I said
7 days from now.
I said that. Y'all said shut up.
Oh my God!
I was trying to tell you
I
that.
can't wait for that, brother.
Scarred by violence, lawmakers plan for possible mass casualty event. Now, what does this mean? Congress must ensure it can continue to govern in the aftermath of mass violence, a bipartisan group of House members argues. Scarred, I wonder. With the news that we will be deploying the United States troops to the Middle East, where we already have some 40,000, I believe about 250,000 U.S. troops are outside the United States right now. Escalation in Eastern Europe, Ukrainian invasion of Russia, and this report that comes out that Iran was plotting to assassinate Donald Trump. Actually, had a guy in the U.S. spoiled by the DOJ, by the FBI. This move being made by Congress to secure chain of governance, continuity of governance, suggests to me,
there's our man,
at the bare minimum, the sentiment we face. Our government fears that we are entering into a mass conflict scenario. Could be civil war maybe, or World War III all at the same time. One thing that I think would be probable is that should World War III break out, you may not call a conflict in the U.S. a civil war. It may be partisan factions rising up, and maybe it's civil war, but I'll put it this way. If the U.S. gets involved in a massive international conflict, I don't believe we'll be invaded. I think it'd be insane. However, international enemies, like our enemies, our adversaries, will fund partisan groups in the U.S. to disrupt and disable U.S. capabilities. I don't know how we handle it. I think that's what Congress fears. But when you've got Congress saying mass casualty event, when you've got the DOJ saying an attempt on Trump's life, when we witness an attempt on Trump's life, when you've got the invasion of Russia, when you've got Iran association firing rockets into Israel, Israel back at Iran, and then Lebanon and Israel bombarding each other, Israel then detonating these pagers. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the brink. And the sentiment is clear. You can deny it, you can ignore it, and you can say, yeah, they're saber rattling here, we're not going to go to war there. But when our own government starts making these moves, you pay attention, because they know things you do not. They've got access, some of them, to classified information. So when they start coming out being like, we need to prepare for when members of Congress are killed en masse, I have to wonder, what gave them reason to think that was possible? Could it be the election? The Washington Post reports. Post-millennial, police attacked during illegal street racing Ring of Fire at Center City, Philadelphia. Congratulations, this is what your cities have become. But don't worry, the DOJ...
What is he talking about?
And the corporate press are saying crime's down. Everything's fine. There's no recession. The economy's actually better than ever. I love this. The media, the machine, they'll come out. The Democrats will tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you experience. The economy is good and there's no crime. Lies. Take a look at this. Police officials said that a total of 5 police vehicles were damaged overnight, including broken windshields and flattened tires. Officials said there was a total of 11 illegal street racing incidents.
Where are all the raiders? I don't like the look of this.
Yeah.
Incidents that police responded to overnight. Take a look at this video. Filming on a drone, by the way. For those that are just listening, they're dancing in costumes, jumping up on top of police vehicles. They are pulling the police vehicle open. They're opening the door. They're flying a drone around it, filming it. This is what's been going on in these cities. This has been going on quite a bit. They say police were attacked and their vehicles damaged over the weekend as officers worked to disperse large crowds that had gathered at multiple illegal car meetups and street races at locations throughout Philadelphia. Police responded to the first 9:30 p.m. Saturday night on the 7400 block of Bustleton Avenue, where around 50 cars were involved, according to NBC 10. 9 citations were issued under the nuisance car ordinance and 15 to spectators.
Wow.
What images pop into your mind when you think about politics in Canada? Can we imagine a new approach? I think so.
Join author and community organizer.
One driver, where the drivers were
one of 11 total incidents involving illegal street racing last night.
From the New York Times, Alex Jones's InfoWars will be auctioned off to pay Sandy Hook families. A sale of the InfoWars website and other property is set for November and could determine the conspiracy theorist's fate as a broadcaster.
All right.
Let me just stress this to the machine. You can't stop Alex Jones. You will never stop Alex Jones. Nothing you do will ever shut down Alex Jones. Nothing. Now, I do find this interesting, because I have to wonder who is going to dare help Alex Jones pay his debts. It's a bold undertaking. I'm like, imagine you're a media company and someone says, hey, Alex Jones, his company, they're going to sell off all this property and try to pay off his Sandy Hook debt. How would you like to give him a hand? Wait, hold on a minute. Do you want to be a media company in any respect that is the one who provided the cash to Alex Jones to help pay down his debt? You bought his gear from him? You are using the InfoWars equipment? I don't know, man. Perhaps there are liberals who are like, ha, I got Alex Jones' camera. I can't imagine them wanting to use it. Going to people and be like, yeah, thanks to the hard work of InfoWars and everything they built, we were able to get these discount cameras, and I was happy to provide cash to Alex Jones so that he could pay down his court debts. Yeah, I don't know who's going to want to take that on. The left is so censorious and so cancellous. I don't know what the right word is for it, but they're very much into canceling people. Do you really want to be the person that's using InfoWars equipment because you gave him the money for his debts? I'm just saying. A Houston bankruptcy judge ruled on Tuesday that the assets from the conspiracy theories Alex Jones' InfoWars empire can be auctioned off to help pay families of the Sandy Hook mass shooting victims the defamation award he owes. The auction, set for mid-November, will include InfoWars website, social media accounts, broadcasting equipment. You can't auction off social media accounts. That's not allowed. Elon Musk can just go, no. Elon owns the X account. Sorry, nothing you can do about it. Broadcasting equipment, product trademarks, and inventory owned by Free Speech Systems, InfoWars' parent company. Mr. Jones' fate as broadcaster most likely depends on who buys his business. Though the InfoWars name and assets are potentially of interest to a range of entities on the far right under the terms of the sales agreement can bid. And therein lies the big point. Do you think a liberal is going to go buy InfoWars? Maybe. And then they'll redirect it to KamalaHarris.com or something. That they'd probably enjoy. But I can't imagine that they'd want to buy the equipment and trademarks and utilize them in any legitimate way. You're more likely to see someone on the right take this up because the money helps Alex pay down his debt, which he probably never could. And it keeps the, so it's going to be some right-wing interest. I'm seeing people say Elon Musk should buy InfoWars. Probably could. They're going to say that Mr. Jones spent years spreading lies. The 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook, get it, was a hoax. The families were actors. The family suffered online abuse, personal confrontations, and death threats from people who believed the conspiracy theory. Relatives of 10 victims, and we all know Alex was wrong to do this. I remember where I was when that story broke. I was in a burger joint in Brooklyn, watching the news, dumbfounded and saddened to see that stuff. I think, not a fan of this. But he apologized for it. I do think the reality is they're trying to destroy his business. If they wanted to make money, they just garnish his revenue. They take his money. Instead, they're like, nah, auction it off, shut it down. Now here's what's going to happen. This is the most insane move, in my opinion, because right-wing interests, people who like Alex Jones, can simply buy up enough of it and then hire Alex Jones. What are you going to do? Some 20-year-old guy who's got a net worth of negative $5,000 credit card debt can file for an LLC, offer up a rev share contract for Alex Jones as an independent contractor, and then film on his phone, make tons of money, and then pay Alex Jones a salary. And then what happens? In the event they go after this new company, that kid with a negative net worth goes, okay, I'll shut the company down, start another one. We don't have any money. There's literally nothing they can do to stop Alex Jones. Sorry, they just can't do it. They say he was sued for defamation in 2018, and they were awarded more than $1.4 billion in damages. But the most the families are likely to ever see is a small fraction of that, and they have been divided over how to equitably distribute the money. As the case is headed to court in 2022, Mr. Jones's company declared bankruptcy. Jones declared personal bankruptcy soon afterwards. Since then, the families have been wrangling in bankruptcy court over assets and revenue that are far less than they originally envisioned. Mr. Jones's personal and business assets combined are worth less than $10 million, according to independent valuations presented in court. His lawyers and other bankruptcy professionals will be paid first, leaving even less for the families. That's funny. The Connecticut for the family in court. His lawyers and other bankruptcy professionals will be paid first, leaving even less for the families. That's funny. The Connecticut and Texas sides divided sharply over how to go after free speech systems. Lawyers for the family who sued Mr. Jones in Connecticut, the relatives of 8 victims, favored shutting down the company and liquidating its assets, with the money distributed among the family members. Here's what I hope for. Congratulations, you've done it. I hope within 6 months, Alex Jones' company is operating once again. It's a new company. There's nothing you can do. You can't subject someone to indentured servitude like this. It just doesn't work. You can't do it. Anyway. Lawyers for the families who sued Mr. Jones in Texas favored a settlement in which he would pay them a percentage of his income over the next decade, most likely netting more money for each relative, which is the legitimate way to go about doing it. As a condition of the latter deal, Mr. Jones would have had to agree never to mention the shooting again. The asset sale is probably the least lucrative option for the family members. Though its potential for shutting down InfoWars appealed to some, juries in the 2 lawsuits awarded individual relatives widely varying amounts. And lawyers from Connecticut and Texas sides have been dueling over how to fairly allocate the money. I think it's hilarious the families are fighting over money. That's insane. The situation is further complicated by the fact that a jury is yet to decide how much in damages Mr. Jones must pay to Lenny Posner and Veronica De La Rosa, whose son Noah Posner died in the shooting. Should be interesting. I think there are a lot of issues with the case, but I think we're well past going over the merits of the case at this point. Alex Jones certainly has his free speech, but all that really matters is he can't shut it down. Now, Owen Schroyer has issued a public statement on the shutting down of InfoWars, and I'll play that, some of that for you now.
All right, guys. I've been getting a lot of messages about the breaking news about InfoWars, so I figured I would come on here and just make a public statement. Let me start with this. I've never been more proud of the work that I've done.
These are some of the dumbest names I've ever seen.
You see, when I left sports media in 2016 to get into political commentary, It was InfoWars that invited me in. It was InfoWars that offered me a job. I was an anti-government guy. I was an anti-lying media guy. I was an anti-lying politician guy. And quite frankly, for somebody like me to break into the political media like that was not an easy thing to do. And there weren't really platforms out there that would host a guy like me or eventually give me a show and allow me to create my own content in the way that I see fit. But InfoWars did. And it's now total confirmation that I made the right decision. And let me tell you, it was a decision that came with a lot of consequences. Some obvious. I was put in prison. I've been sued multiple times. I've been attacked. I've been assaulted. I've been censored across the internet. I get blackballed from pretty much, or have been in the past, from pretty much all conservative outlets. But you notice that the narrative is changing. You notice that everybody sounds like InfoWars now.
Amazing.
You notice that everybody wants to have Alex Jones on now.
Yep.
Because they're realizing Alex Jones and InfoWars were not censored, were not attacked, and now as of today, being shut down and liquidated, not for lying, but for telling the truth. Because you see, if it was for lying, then wouldn't it be the mainstream media on trial? Trump-Russia collusion, Hunter Biden laptop is fake, vaccines are safe and effective, weapons of mass destruction. Should I go on?
That's a lot of words.
So, no, I've never been more proud of my work at InfoWars
It's a lot of droids.
Than I am today. I've never had total confirmation that I joined the right team of telling the truth and anti-corruption media than today when I joined InfoWars. And now, yet again, at this level of the InfoWars saga, people will see how the First Amendment and free speech is under attack, and all the weapons they will use against Americans to try to take your rights from you and shut you down if you won't be silenced. Now, that's all I'm going to say on this. I'm not going to comment on the court developments or the legalese.
I'm ready.
I would advise you to tune into the Alex Jones Show tomorrow. This is his company. This is his story. I was just honored to be a part of it. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a fight for the future of this country. We're in a fight for freedom. We're in a fight for truth.
I'm game if you are.
And it's never been more proof positive that I made the right decision in that choice to join InfoWars, and I've never been more proud of the work I've done at InfoWars than I am today.
I'll give a little pushback. You know, with all due respect to Owen, who had on the show. I like him, he's a good dude. Alex Jones got sued because for a long time he was pushing insane theories about Santa. And it's just, it's too much. You know, but he apologized. I don't think destroying his company, firing all his employees, I mean, this is going to put people out of work, and then selling off his equipment is how you remedy this. I don't even think the $1.4 billion makes sense. It's an absurd. Now, there's certainly questions. Alex Jones made the argument that they held him in default. He didn't even actually get a trial on the defamation. No matter how many documents he gave, they kept saying he wasn't giving them the real documents. There are a lot of problems here that I will admit. You know, for the corporate press, the
ghost arm
is how you remedy this.
So is that like a
I don't even think
force
$1.4 billion
ghost
makes sense. I mean, it's an absurdity. Now, there are certainly questions. Alex Jones made the argument that they held him in default. He didn't even actually get a trial on the defamation.
You will not stop
no matter how
me.
many documents he gave, they kept saying he wasn't giving them the real documents. There are a lot of problems here, that I will admit. You know, for the corporate press, the issue is institutional power. You know, so he says it in a statement, it's not because he lied, it's because he told the truth. Well, certainly not in regard to Sandy, but that was the attack vector they used to go after him, and Alex Jones has been right about a lot of other things. So he's been wrong about some very bad things, maybe. And which, again, his words, he apologized for what he was wrong about. The corporate press does not have massive institutionalized enemies. And so they do lie about a lot of things. And for this, we exist to call them out. Shows like Alex's, you know, when he gets it right, and he's gotten terrifying when he gets it right. And talk about that. When he gets it right, it's kind of scary, right? And so like this one, we call out the lies frequently. I gotta give Alex a big shout out too, because I remember, I think it was October 2021. Alex wanted to show and said there's going to be a war in February. It's coming. They are going to have war. It's going to be big. And then war started. Russia invaded Ukraine. And everybody went, Alex, how do you know? It's the funniest thing.
You miserable.
I was talking to Alex about it. And he was like, I don't even know why. I was just reading the news. It's just reading a news story. This is the craziest thing about all this. You're embarrassed. You know, people say like, oh, Tim talks about Civil War. I'm like, I'm just reading New York Times, man. Leave me. Because I remember, I think it was October 2021. Alex went on his show and said, there's going to be a war in February. It's coming. They are going to have war. It's going to be big. And then war started. Russia invaded Ukraine. And everybody went, Alex, how did you know? And the funniest thing, I was talking to Alex about it. And he was like, I don't even know why. I was just reading the news. He was just reading a news story. This is the crazy to alarm calls without supporting evidence, police chief. With depleted resources, we cannot prioritize a patrol response when there is very low probability that criminal activity is taking place. Welcome to the end of your blue cities. I have no idea how we navigate this. Now, this story's big. Why? Because the huge news the other day was the FBI claims that violent crime declined in 2020. Look at this awful website. AP website is awful. Very bad. FBI finds violent crime declined in 2023. Here's what to know.
Don't resist.
It's not true, by the way. They didn't find that crime declined. This is a lie. Let me break it down for you. The FBI found that reported crimes, reporting on crimes is down, and that police agencies many of them are no longer participating in crime reporting. Now, what happens is the corporate press, because they're evil, politically motivated, and want to trick you, put out these statements. Violent crime declined. No, reported violent crime declined. That's what we know. And agencies are not reporting. So, yeah, likely crime is going up. You tell me how to reconcile these things. Seattle cops don't want to respond to alarm calls without evidence. So police are less likely to respond. In California, if the theft doesn't exceed $900 some odd, they don't go after these people. You tell me how that translates to crime is going down.
Oh no, Jedi.
It's illogical. I mean, the left likes the narrative because they can say, see, policing is bad. However, what do we see in Philadelphia? You got rings of fire, flamethrowers, cops being attacked. Oh boy. All right. Let's start with the post-millennials story. They say, Seattle police will no longer respond to calls from alarm companies unless there is supporting evidence of a crime. According to a September 13th letter from the interim Seattle police chief, Sue Rahr, beginning October 1st, SPD will only dispatch officers to calls from alarm companies if there is supporting evidence of a crime, such as audio, video panic alarms, or eyewitnesses that a person
out to Dane. So there we go. Okay, so back to regularly scheduled program. My apologies for the delay, but let's see if we can actually get this video to work now. So here we go, right here. Boom. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
Almost every day seems to be talking about this. So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay. Now the other job.
But it was not a small job. Like, I did the fries. I mean, yes.
Okay, for a
but
small
I did.
period of time. But then let me ask about a big job.
But to your point, if you don't mind, before you get to the big job, there's a part of the reason I even talk about having worked at McDonald's is because there are people who work at McDonald's in our country who are trying to raise a family. I worked there as a student. I was a kid who worked there trying to raise families and pay rent on that. And I think part of the difference between me and my opponent includes our perspective on the needs of the American people and what our responsibility then is to meet those needs.
There's no record of her working at McDonald's. There's no record. By the way, the best answer was, yes, the audio is working, unfortunately, meaning you had to listen to Kamala. But that's the hard-hitting interview that I guess we got tonight with, Kamala Harris and the mainstream media. But there's a couple other clips, unfortunately, that we're going to have to react to. But first, let me catch up on some of these. River Miles with a 50! And says, where's my geeks and nerds at Trump 2024? By the way, I do think that video is ratioed. Let me look that up real quick. What was it? Geeks and nerds for Harris? Let's see if that thing's ratioed real quick. It was close. It was close. Geeks and nerds for Harris. Don't tell me they took it down. Geeks and nerds for Harris. Why is it not showing up? There's no way. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so it is close to being ratioed. It's close to being ratioed. There it is right there. So it's at 11,000 upvotes to 9,400 downvotes. So it's getting there. It's getting there. So we're going to have to, we'll see how that goes over the next few days. Again, I am not asking you to go over there and do anything. I'm just informing you of what we are seeing. Okay, that's all. Thank you, River Miles. I appreciate it. Nandy for 20 says, we watch because when we see you suck at your job, makes us feel that we're pretty good to keep our gig for this long. Oh, that's a good way to kill somebody's confidence. You know, I'm sitting here going, I'm pretty good. I'm a good streamer. People watch me. People super chat me. You know, people drop memberships. I'm pretty good at my job. And then Nandy comes in here and just kind of is like, no, you're actually just retarded, and we feel so much better about our shitty lives because you're such a retard that it makes our lives so much better. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense as to why people watch me then. It just makes them feel better about themselves. They're like, I had a really bad day. I had a really bad day. Let me watch Jeremy so he can be an idiot so I can feel better about my day. That's good. I like that. Dracon CM says, Jeremy is a prime. I am an alpha. We are not the same. What's up, brother? How you doing? Let's see here. Appreciate the $20 super chat. Greg McMahon says, I would love for Krista Nova to talk about Halloween in Canada. Krista can talk about Halloween in Canada for Geeks Gamers Life Videos 2024 Halloween. Well, Geeks Gamers Life has been rebranded to Geeks Gamers Clips, so just a heads up on that. Woodamans becomes a new member. Thank you. There's Brock with the 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, Brock. Lord Bothus says, Jeremy, stop making female cosplayers cry on X. I know it. JM the Elite Fan on Rumble for 25 says, if I have a nickel for every retarded boomer streamer in the fellowship, I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird. It happened twice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Gerald Armstrong says, have you checked out the Vince McMahon documentary yet? I've seen 5 episodes so far. It's not very surprising. They do talk a little bit about Trump. No. Did that come out today? Obviously, I'm a huge old school wrestling fan. I'm very knowledgeable on Vince McMahon and his journey to becoming the biggest wrestling promoter in the world and turning the WWF into a billion-dollar global phenomenon. So I am interested to see this documentary. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of manipulation behind it, and that was even before Vince said anything. But you know, we'll see. But no, I haven't checked it out yet. I'm looking forward to it though. Jesse MacArthur with 5 gifted memberships. Let's go. Timo Slice says, I've been marathon watching all the new videos on the Geeks Gamers Clips channel. Shows why Tuesday night's main event is the best. Hey man, thank you. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying all the content we're putting out, man. We're trying to stay on top of it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me as the leader of Geeks and Gamers, I feel like I have failed in a lot of ways in the last couple of years because I got distracted with so many different things. Content is king, and we're trying to push as much content as possible on all these channels. We're trying to get the proper structure, and I feel like I kind of lost track of that for a while. But I'm glad that we're getting things back on track. So what up, Rippa in the chat, dropping the 199. Thank you, Rippa. Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Brock for 20 says, sending money to you is like going to a friend's house while they are working on their roof and the process. That's pretty good, actually. What's up, Brock? Appreciate you. That's a good one. I see Alec says, I can't wait for my IDOT shirt. Well, I can't wait for you guys to get it as well. If you have not, and we do have a brand new campaign that we are running right now over on 221B Tactical. So if you guys have not had a chance, please go over to 221B Tactical. We have the Halloween edition of IDOT, the shirts and the hoodies for sale, limited time only until October 1st. So make sure that you go over there and get yourself an IDOT t-shirt or hoodie. That is the brand new Geeks and Gamers mascot right here. So I think that's an awesome design. I can't wait to see everybody rocking it. And we're going to continue to have a lot of IDOT merchandise along with all other merchandise as well. So if you're interested, please go over there, check it out, and we look forward to seeing you guys rocking your IDOT merchandise. Gonna be awesome indeed. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? There's a lot of people here tonight, man. Casey Cheeto says, I hope Wonder Woman isn't your special guest tonight. No, I promise, no Wonder Woman tonight, okay? Golden Nugget says, Diddy's freak off. Politicians involved? 1,000%. 1,000% politicians are going to be involved in some of the Diddy stuff. We're probably not going to hear about it. Will G says, I am here for the Frank Gore style makeup stream. Bring on the 80s aerobics. Thank you. 8 o'clock says, how dare you show your face after what you did? Mac Jerry says, I cannot believe you made me regret the amount of tissues and socks wasted on Linda Carter in my puberty with that shame of a stream. That wasn't Linda. It was Nancy Pelosi in cosplay. Damn. Painfully accurate too, sadly. That one guy for 10 says, Trump in a landslide. I can't wait. People are afraid to say they want to vote for 45-47. You know what? On that note, there is something I want us to watch really quickly because the tide is starting. Man, it's really tough with like social media and all the bullshit going on social media, man. But things are starting to turn around, I think. Okay, so we're gonna watch a Megyn Kelly video right here. Give me just a second. Pull this up. T-Mac Gaming says, I like beans. Thank you, T-Mac Gaming. All right, here we go. So here's Megyn Kelly. New shock polls show major red flags for Kamala campaign as GOP surges. All right, I've not watched this video yet.
Okay, so the Gallup thing is very interesting, guys. Gallup, their track record is very good on predicting the national popular vote by tracking party identification and leaners, right? Like how many identify Republican, how many identify Dem, and then whichever party gets the leaners, it adds to their score. And so just going through the numbers, in 2008, they said the country had, it was +8 on Democratic registrations. Obama won by 7.2. This is put out in a tweet by Eric Doughty, but verified by our staff.
See, there's no way you're going to convince me. Like, there's absolutely no way. I've been following politics pretty closely since Trump got involved, going back to like 2015. And I've always like, I followed even going back to like the Bush, the first Bush run. And then the second one, even, I followed that one pretty closely. I followed on the first Obama run. The second one, not so much, because I was so kind of like, I was kind of checked out on politics completely. But if you look back on the 2015-2016 Trump run, we are dealing with night and day with how the perception of Trump is within the conservative and the Republican side of things. He owns the party. He dominates it. He's not battling the narrative of the party anymore. He runs the party. Okay? Now, the enthusiasm for Trump is higher than it's ever been. It's not even close. The passion and the enthusiasm is like nothing we've ever seen in politics. And there's literally none on the side of Harris. There's none. They don't have the mail-in ballots this time around, at least not to the level that they did. And that's going to be a big fucking problem for them moving forward. We're like 42 days out at this point. Something crazy is going to happen in these next few weeks. I don't know what, but something crazy is going to happen.
2012 said D+4. Obama won 3.9. 2016, it said D+3. And Clinton did win the national vote, 2.1. So very close. 2020, D.
The national vote is irrelevant because you have places like California that just like, I bet there's a lot of people in California that simply don't vote on the Republican side because they understand how useless their vote is. And I think that that's what we have to absolutely make people recognize that it doesn't matter if you think that it doesn't matter or not. You need to get off your ass, just like Trump said. Harry, get off your fat ass. We're going to vote for Trump today. So the popular vote is irrelevant because that's just not the system.
+5. Biden won 4.5. And you know what it says in 2024 for the first time in some 20 years? R+3. Amazing, just to see that Republicans have the edge on the national voter ID right now. And if you go by track record, that would put Trump in a position of not only winning the national vote, but in the case of a Republican who wins the national vote, almost certainly winning the Electoral College. Jim, what do you make of that?
If that comes to pass, and I guess I put this in the category of news that is so good for Republicans, my skeptical instinct kicks in. Right. I'm almost afraid to believe
it can't possibly be true.
Yeah, chalk that up to me being a Jets fan and just seeing when good things happen, something terrible is about to happen the very next moment. But so there's actually two schools of thought about how people identify in terms of their partisan lean. One is if you ask people which party are you part of, they think of what they're registered with, and they will say, I'm a registered Democrat, I'm a registered Republican. Which might be surprising because there are a bunch of people, particularly in the South, less so now than, say, maybe a decade ago, but who were registered Democrats, but who are pretty darn cultural conservative on gun issues, on abortion, things like that. The other one is that people are much more fickle. And if there's a news cycle where the Democrats are looking terrible, then they're more likely to identify as Republicans and vice versa. I think even if it's even, you're looking at that would probably be a Trump victory. If it's Trump by 3, as this Gallup's pointing, well, not only is Trump maybe going to go 7 for 7 in those big swing states that matter. No offense to anybody in these other states, but clearly this election's coming down to Arizona and Nevada, the other Sun Belt states, North Carolina and Georgia, and then the big 3 in the blue wall.
Dude, it has to be a fucking massive victory. Trump has to win it's got to be a fucking huge victory. Everybody has got to turn out for this shit. Dude, everybody has got to show that we are not going to put up with this bullshit. We are not going to allow Kamala Harris and the Democrats, this party of corruption. It's got to be fucking massive. It really does. Like, a message needs to be sent. I want to see Van Jones crying his eyes out on election night. I want to see the Democrats and the Hollywood celebrities crying their eyes out. Do you want to see the greatest film ever made once again, just like we did in 2016? Dude, if you thought 2016 was glorious in the meltdown, we're talking about an Elon Musk, Donald Trump White House, essentially, is what we're talking about, because Trump is going to have Elon Musk involved in this White House. Elon Musk is going to walk in there, and he's essentially going to do to the government what he did to Twitter, okay? Do you want to see that? Because that's where we are. Trump is walking into the office more powerful than ever before, and he's got a hell of a team behind him this time. What was his biggest flaw in his first term? What was his biggest flaw? Personnel. Now, to be fair, we go back and look at that 2016 debate that I've showed you many times, the one where he literally had the RNC telling him, we don't have any tickets to give you, Donald Trump, when he had all these people on stage and he had the donors and the special interest groups booing him, and the RNC wasn't working with him, and now Lauren Trump is running the RNC. The Trump name runs the Republican Party. He's got all the influence, all the power. He's got everything. Now he's got people in position to help guide him and have the right people in place. When it was 2016, it truly was a disaster of people that he had to choose from. And he made mistakes. He made mistakes. He 100% did. And I think he's learned from those mistakes. And now, like J.D. Vance, you guys know I was not the biggest fan of J.D. Vance when he was announced. At this point in time, on this day, September 25th, J.D. Vance, to me, might have been the perfect pick for VP, because he's just what he is, what J.D. Vance is he is a guy who can articulate Donald Trump's points better than Donald Trump can to normies. Now, nobody can articulate like Trump because he's Trump. So the people that love Trump and they love the Trumpisms and all of that, nobody's touching that guy. The charisma is off the chart. But when you're talking about people that just need to hear it kind of like direct without the fluff, J.D. Vance can deliver Donald Trump's points perfectly and articulately to people that need to hear exactly what it is. And he's been great at that. He's been absolutely great. So he's great. You've got RFK Jr. backing up Trump now. You've got Elon Musk in his corner. You got Vivek in his corner. You got Tucker Carlson. The dude has the fucking dream team right now. He has a fucking dream team that's going to walk into the White House with him. And I think Alina Habba is going to be involved in the White House in some capacity, whether she's a press secretary or something like that. I think Alina Habba is going to be involved. The dude has a dream team following him right now into the White House.
Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But if it's really Republicans by 3 on election day, when you count up all the votes, well, then you got to worry about New Hampshire. Then you got to worry about my home state of Virginia. I also noticed this bizarre thing in which in Minnesota, Tim Walz, the Democratic vice presidential nominee, is the governor of Minnesota, and the last 3 polls have Democrats ahead by 5 percentage points. Now that's fine. Everybody kind of expects Minnesota to be a blue state, but Biden and Harris carried the state by 4.5 points. So adding Tim Walz to the ticket,
have more tea. But, you know, it's kind of heavy if anybody wanted to give me a hand.
Of course,
Nice. Oh, thank you. Oh, ha, very funny. Okay, here you go, round 2. What do you think?
Strong.
It's very sweet.
You'll get used to it.
You see her. Why don't you join us on Tanalorr? There's no better home for the Archive or the Hidden Path. Look, whatever the future holds, we can face it together.
Yes. It's a new path for all of us. Cal, Master Tapal would be proud of the Jedi you've become.
I had a good teacher.
Everyone, the Hidden Path has found a new home. To Tanalorr.
Tanalorr. Hey, wait a minute, Seer, does that mean you're coming?
Yes, Grease. In fact, I'm going to go and
Didn't
prepare
this
the
chick
archive
die in
for
like the first
relocation.
one?
Well, it's getting late. I'll go with you. Say, where is the menace in there? This place is terrifying at night.
I will escort you.
Oh, great. But, hey, none of that creepy stuff, okay? Seer, are the Anchorites really coming with us?
Of course, yes.
Wow, our family's growing with a boatload of creepy aunts and uncles.
We did it, Bode.
Yeah. Compass is gonna be good as new.
Something's bothering you.
You know me too well, Scrapper. Just thinking about Kata. And people looking after her, but it's always a bit tough when I come back.
When she sees what you've done for her, she'll understand.
Added a 0.5 percentage point to the Democratic total. Good call. Good call. Hey,
Great call.
At least there was nobody else who could have helped Harris in, Pennsylvania or something like that.
You're right. Whomever could it have been? The thing about the Gallup number, Charlie, is it's starting to look like it's backed by polling. And of course, a month ago, the polling was very different. A month from now, when we're a lot closer to the election, it could be very different as well. So big asterisks on the discussion. But 1 month out from, where were we, in late August, we were post-Democratic National Convention. Kamala Harris was still on cloud 9. She had been anointed. She was wonderful. She had no flaws. She had Michelle. She had Barack. She had Bill. She had Hillary. She had Oprah. She had them all. Now where is she? Well, the latest Quinnipiac poll of likely voters shows in a two-way race, they're tied nationally at 48 in an expanded race, including Stein, these other minor candidates. It's a one.
And just so everybody knows, and I know everybody probably watching this knows this, but Donald Trump does not poll very well. Historically, he always overperforms when the actual votes are counted, so he doesn't poll very well. So the fact that he's polling even with her is a huge fucking problem. It's a huge fucking problem for them because he historically does not poll very well, because Trump supporters typically are like, yeah, fuck you, I'm not talking to you. I'm not getting involved.
1 point Trump lead. Either way, razor thin. I mean, very, very tight, which is good for Trump. I mean, any national number showing Trump even in it, tight, never mind up by 1, has very good implications for the Electoral College. That's Quinnipiac. CNN likely voters in a 4-way race showing Harris up over Trump by 1 point. And so all of this trends kind of neatly with those Gallup numbers I started with. What do you make of it?
I think that we spend so much time, myself included, talking about Trump. And when I talk about Trump, it's relatively critical, that we sometimes forget that the Democratic Party is very weird, and also that the Democratic Party is in power. It's in charge of the White House, and it's in charge of the Senate. It also exercises a lot of cultural power in other institutions, in academia, in the media, in Hollywood, and increasingly in corporate.
We're going to go back to this one in just a minute, okay? Because we're going to go back to this guy in just a minute, but I do have some breaking news that I want to jump over to right now. Eric Adams has released a video statement. New York City Mayor Eric Adams after federal indictment. And so we're going to listen to what Eric Adams has to say after a federal indictment. So here we go right here.
How has it been spending time with Master Cordova?
An unexpected
It is now my
blessing.
belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes.
How's it coming?
If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week,
was that his
searched
phone?
the home of our new police commissioner.
Was that his
looking
phone?
for documents from 20 years ago. just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
Okay, somebody screen recorded it. Okay, somebody screen recorded it. So there you go. So Eric Adams has made a statement after the federal grand jury has indicted him. And I guess we're supposed to get more information on this moving forward. But wow, crazy, crazy times. And why is this happening 5 weeks before a general election? That's the question I ask myself. Why is this happening 5 weeks before a general election? Is this meant to show that we're fair, guys? We have a Democrat that we're indicting. Is that what the point of this is to show that the justice system is fair? Not sure what their play is, but there's got to be something to that. All right, back to the Megyn Kelly video.
People often react to that, and in a sense, since 2015, 2016, the Trump show has distracted from what's going on with the Democrats. So it is greatly surprising to me to see either a close race at the presidential level or to see those numbers from Gallup. I mean, if you look at the current Democratic coalition, it doesn't make much sense. It might make more sense if you add in that Donald Trump is the nominee. But absent that, it doesn't make much sense. What is the Democratic Party at the moment? It's this very strange coalition of public sector unions.
The Democratic Party has no identity whatsoever, except for corruption. That's the only identity that the Democratic Party has is corruption. They don't have a true leader. They have a leader from the shadows, which of course I believe is Barack Obama. But they don't have like a true leader because Barack Obama's not out at the forefront presenting himself as the leader. We know Kamala Harris isn't the leader. We know Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at. So they don't actually have a true leader. They don't have a true leader or a true vision. Whereas the Republican Party obviously has a true leader and a true vision, and that would be Donald Trump. That's the true vision right there.
And minorities, although less than it used to be, and upper middle class white people and social liberals and people who have PhDs, and their interests and political alliances don't necessarily mesh. And you're beginning to see this, for example, with the Democrats running away pretty hard from raising taxes on 98.1% of the population, which is interesting given they also want to spend a lot of money. So I'm never shocked when I see this, and when I see the Republicans doing well despite their problems, because I think the Democratic Party is a massive mess. And I think that when Trump is gone, whether it's because he loses or wins this time around, those contradictions are going to come to the fore, especially if Trump wins, because then you're going to have essentially a 4-year primary. And that 4-year primary is going to have as its heart, what should our positions be on everything? On foreign policy, on Israel, on taxes, on spending, on transgender stuff, on abortion. Perhaps abortion is a good issue for the Democrats, but there's also a contradiction there, especially with black voters. So this doesn't shock me to see this sort of close election or close number.
You know what? You mentioned your home state of Virginia, Commonwealth, Jim, and there was a poll out just the other day, University of Mary Washington, polling on Virginia showing it a 2-point race. Kamala 48, Trump 46. Now I realize there'll be other polls that show it a much bigger lead for her there, but that's getting back into the Joe Biden territory numbers where they did the coup to get him out of the race altogether.
I was going to say, beginning of the year.
If you want to question if these polls mean anything or not, and I do understand that people have questions about that and they dismiss them a lot, these are the polls that made them run Joe Biden out of the White House, okay? These are the polls that they said, holy shit, Our internal polling and the public polling is horrendous for Joe Biden. And now we're getting right back to the level of, yeah, you had the honeymoon phase and all of that, okay? But now we're back to where the numbers are getting back to where Biden was pre and post debate, where they ultimately decided we got to get this dude out of here because he's terrible. And now they've got the same problem with her. We got 5 weeks to go, and trust me, man, I don't think we're prepared for what we're about to see. I really don't. I really don't. You've got 3 recorded incidents on record for Donald Trump's life being threatened. 3. We've seen one of them play out live at a rally. The other one happened at Mar-a-Lago, and then the Iran situation that was just revealed. It's just gonna get wild, bro. Okay? Woo.
Before there was any serious talk, before there was the debate between Trump and Biden was either barely ahead or, they were running neck and neck. It was, and by the way, keep in mind, Virginia, by and large, is a blue state, or purplish blue. We have Governor Glenn Youngkin, who's a Republican, but otherwise, very tough for Republicans to win statewide. And I believe the last Republican presidential candidate to carry the state of Virginia was George W. Bush back in like 2000, or 2004. So since the Obama days, I used to joke when I lived in my old neighborhood, which I nicknamed Yuppie Acres, the Obama yard signs came pre-installed with the house. It was just an assumption that,
Wait a minute, this is news. This is news. Are you telling me the reason they refer to your home area as Authenticity Woods right now on the Editor's Podcast is because you used to be in Yuppie, what was it?
Yuppie Acres. Yes, I can tell you, that was Alexandria. And that's, but keep in mind, before Alexandria, I lived in the District of Columbia. So people would say, how do you like it? Like, well, we have way better socialists out here. They're much.
Hold on just a minute. Lost Tales over on Rumble says Jeremy's falling for Israel propaganda. Please tell me what Israel propaganda I'm falling for. Please tell me. I can't wait. I can't wait for that to happen. Do tell me. Please inform me.
You're better about plowing the snow and stuff like that. So let me tell you, when you live in D.C., Northern Virginia, that seems like a conservative paradise. Now I'm in Fairfax County, which used to be, I narrowed it down to a county with a million people. Authenticity Woods is a corner of Northern Virginia. I would describe it as all the Democratic voters, you can tell they have a...
Says, I will post a link and a quick summary for you. Motherfucker, just say it in the chat. Just say it right now. I'm not going to find fucking links. Just say it. You weren't prepared to be called out on it. Don't talk shit.
Kamala Harris yard sign in their house, in front of their house. And the Donald Trump side, the Donald Trump voters have nothing on their front lawn because they don't want anyone to know. But they're out there. I think it was about 2 miles. And a candidate like Young split it. But the point where I was going with this is that Biden was on pace to lose Virginia, particularly after the debate. The bottom fell out. There were a whole bunch of Democrats. Clearly, they may not have been ready to jump on Trump bandwagon, but they just saw Biden as a reanimated corpse that was shuffling around like a zombie. And basically, they were like, I can't vote for that. With Harris, she's back in the lead, but it's closer. It is not the slam dunk that it looked like it was going to be in the Obama days. And, I think, like I said, the Big 7, New Hampshire, this state, and maybe 1 or 2 others are the next rung on the ladder. Democrats need to worry about.
Okay, so here we got it. So hang on. So here's your let's see. Alex Jones said in July that the deep state was using Iran, and the feds were running ops to blame Iran once they killed Trump. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So would you like me to show you my source? Would you like me to show you my source? Because I can give you my source if you would.
Democrats need to worry about.
Okay, so here we got it. So hang on. So here's your let's see. Alex Jones said in July that the deep state was using Iran, and the feds were running ops to blame Iran once they killed Trump. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So would you like me to show you my source? Would you like me to show you my source? Because I can give you my source if you would like that. Since you think like I'm falling for propaganda. Here's my source right here. I don't know if you know this guy. His name's Donald Trump, but that's my source. So if you got a problem with my information, then you have a problem with Donald Trump, okay? So I'm going to listen to Donald Trump. That's my source, not any other bullshit going on. I don't get caught up in this Israel-Palestine bullshit. I don't give a fuck about people, okay? So that's my source, a man named Donald Trump. So I guess Trump is too stupid to realize it as well. That's my source right there. End of discussion. I can't stand when people bring some bullshit into it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about this Israel bullshit, Palestine bullshit, Trump is bought by Netanyahu bullshit. I don't give a fuck about all of that. Of course, this the Trump's playing 4D chess, ladies and gentlemen. He's putting that out there. That could like that's not. I've never bought into that dumb shit either. Trump goes by his instincts and his gut, and he's generally right. And sometimes he steps in it, and sometimes, for the most part, he's generally correct. For the most part, generally.
Still, I think it's not hard to find Republicans who are like, these guys have not done this before. So that's that one little X factor that still can play out between now and Election Day.
Imagine waking up one day to...
So there you go. So the polls are looking good. And, oh yeah, I am 100% like in fight mode these days. Like, we got 5 weeks to go. All I care about is getting Trump back in office. I don't care about any nonsense bullshit going on. If people, regardless of... Let's just hypothetically, okay? Let's just say that you don't believe that Iran's behind it or whatever, okay? Guess what? From a normie narrative, when people hear that Donald Trump's life is being threatened once again, not only by some crazy kid in Pennsylvania, by some lunatic in Florida, and now by a foreign country, all of that is good for Donald Trump from a normie perspective. You don't have to convince me. We don't have to convince anybody watching this stream. We need to be convincing normies to go out there and vote for Donald Trump. That's all the fuck we need. So all this other bullshit, like, none of these people give a fuck about all this other stuff that people are talking about. People's mind, people that watch Alex Jones, people that watch my show, people that keep up with this shit, they already know what they're doing. This is about convincing those 10% in the middle that listen to nonsense and bullshit. That's what matters. Nothing else matters. None of this other Reddit bullshit, Twitter bullshit, none of that matters. Normies are all that fucking matters at this point in time with 5 weeks to go. Normies are the only thing that matters. None of this other bullshit matters, so it's irrelevant to talk about. What people need to know is that they want Trump dead. That is a huge selling point for people to go, man, they want this guy dead? Why do they keep wanting this guy dead? And then they see Kamala Harris being a bumbling, fumbling idiot, which is very unlikable. That is the easiest path to victory right there. That's it. That's the easiest path to victory. Donald Trump is being, life is threatened by multiple people, and including potentially foreign countries from a normie perspective. Kamala Harris is a complete moron and can't even finish a sentence and can't answer a question. That's how you convince the normies. And those are the only people that matter. However, we do have this right here. End wokeness is exactly 1 year ago. Eric Adams admitted off script that migrants are destroying New York City. He was just indicted by Biden and Harris. Let's listen in.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem.
Uh-oh. Said something he shouldn't be saying.
Every community in this city is going to be impacted. billion deficit that we're going to have to pay.
By the way, don't think highly of this guy, okay? Don't think highly of this guy, because I know he's saying all the right things, and a lot of people are going to cheer and think he's secretly based. He is a piece of shit, okay? So don't get googly-eyed over him calling out an obvious problem. Don't do it at all, because he is absolutely part of the problem, and he will absolutely turn on you in a hot minute.
Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City? It's gonna come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000.
So many have died.
The city
Many
we
more
knew
will die if we do not secure
we're
the
about to
haven.
lose. And we're all in this together. All of us.
He would want
Staten
us to
Island
sell
said,
what we can
send them
of
out to
the
Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn.
no matter the price.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for this dude at all. This dude is part of the problem, and he got a lot of attention when he said this. If you remember, a lot of people were talking about this when it happened, and he is 100% part of the problem. Elon Musk says he was told to shut up by Democrat Party after this. So yeah. That guy is a clown, and we're gonna see what happens with all of this. I mean, I have no idea what direction they're gonna take this thing in, but it will be interesting. Let's see. I think I need to do something with my browser, because Twitter does not work very well on my browser. Like Trump just sent out a tweet, and I can't even pull the tweet up. He spoke out of line. That's a no-no in the Democratic Party. That's 100%. That's 100% accurate. Let's listen to our Democratic nominee really quick. I have not heard this clip, okay? But it is on the topic of Eric Adams and what he's talking about. So let's listen to this wordsmith known as Kamala Harris.
First of all, we do have a broken immigration system, and it needs to be fixed. And if we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill. That would have put 1,500 new border agents on the border to help those hardworking border agents who are there right now working around the clock. Would have put more money into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing Americans around our country and devastating communities. Would have put more resources into our ability to prosecute transnational criminal organizations, which in my career I've prosecuted.
God, I hate listening to her. Everything.
Wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And that's part of what needs to be addressed. And my pledge is that when elected president, if the American people will have me, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a
why not do it now?
Comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship. And I want.
Oh my God, man! Listening to this woman talk is painful. It's absolutely painful to listen to this clown. Good Lord. Let me read a few super chats. Stream Hero says, "Do we forgive the frog who gave us?" Flag Ninja says, "We're still mad at you, Big." Zeke the White says, "Jeremy, I still have the bad taste of that cringe stream last night. Freshen us up with some Sydney Sweeney. Give you some Sweeney last night." Maybe some more, a little bit later. Ackle P2 says, regardless of last night, I can't quit you, Jeremy. On to victory in November, Trump 2024. Jose Taco says, you heard of TDS? Now there is JDS, Jeremy Derangement Syndrome. LOL, never change. The real ones get you. Hey, man. Listen, man, we talk shit. We have fun. We have a good back and forth. That's all that really matters. Lost Tales is cool as shit. Lost Tales has been watching me for years. Lost Tales, I've called out Lost Tales 1,000 times. He's cool people. Lost Tales knows his shit, man. Warbreyer becomes a new member. Thank you. Slaglass says, so I hear there are certain people in this sphere that are upset that they got treated the way they treat their video subjects. Grow a pair, Zach the Price. Zach who? Zach Snyder? Of course he was. He's not affiliated with Eastern Gaming. How the rest of his career worked out. Oh, 40 is Zach. Alan Tanasi says Leonard Skinner was the best boy band. That's pretty funny. Aaron says highly recommended the Vince McMahon doc. All right, I have to watch it. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Troy News says if you could bring 3 artists no longer with us for an all-nighter Cobra stock concert, who would they be? If you could bring 3 artists back no longer with us, Michael Jackson. Now I gotta think. It's gotta be Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, and probably Tupac. Yeah, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, and Tupac. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Ooh, Johnny Cash. God damn it. Now everybody. Elvis. Good Lord. There's just so many, man. There's just so many. Good Lord, the chat is going crazy right now. The chat's going crazy. Michael Jackson's number 1, okay? Michael Jackson's number 1.
And save as much of the archive as we can.
All gays.